I learned something very important in church today. It is, instead of seeking to be understood, seek to understand. It would make us kinder to each other. It would make us more patient with each other. That's why Christianity is not for the weak. Christianity is something that requires strength, and we don't have it as human beings. It has to come from God. It is divinely given. God has been trying to show me that my attention has been divided between racial issues, political issues, gender issues, and it's not focusing where it should be focused on spiritual issues, which is what is causing the convergence of everything that we see happening right now. And I know a lot of people have given up on God, especially my people of my color, and especially women. And I would like to say that God hasn't given up on us. We see what is going on around us, and a lot of people want to say, where is God when these things are happening? Oh, he's there, he's never left. But we need to understand why things fall the way they do, because human choice has a lot to do with what is happening, and human choice has a lot to do with God's response. So I am going to go into a series of little studies, and I'm going to ask whatever questions, put them in the comment section below, because I had a conversation with a gentleman yesterday. He barely spoke any English, but we were talking about methods of payment, and it's not the first time I've encountered somebody with a particular belief system that we had a pleasant discussion. And I love sharing what I know, and I love when people are willing to listen, but not because I want to control the issue. It's an exchange of thought, and the truth will always stand on its own. We were talking about methods of payment, and he mentioned the chip in the hand. Now, the chip in the hand that people are talking about, he said something. He said, it is the mark of the beast. And that took it from out of a regular sphere to a religious sphere. And immediately God pricked my mind. And this is the conversation we had. I said to him, okay, now, if God, we're dealing with spiritual issues. So we're talking about God and we're talking about the enemy. If God's mark is a particular thing, then the enemy's mark has to be something similar. It has to be something similar but opposite to God's. Okay. So the only place where we see God staking a claim is in the 10 Commandments, in the 4th commandment to be specific, where he said, for the Lord thy God created the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that in them is. He's giving his title. He is telling who he is and what power and authority he has to give this law, especially this 4th commandment. Because if you should notice, the rest of them are dealing with physical issues, but the day is a principle. Okay. Now, if God's seal is a day, then that means the enemy's seal has to be an equal thing, a day. Now, the entire world, with the exception of a few, worship on what they call the Lord's Day, which is Sunday. Now, they get the title of the Lord's Day from John the Revelator, which is in the book of Revelations. Revelations mean to reveal. Now, what day was John calling the Lord's Day? John was a Jew. He was a Jew. Okay. So, if the Sabbath is the 7th day of the week, if Saturday, what we know as Saturday, because you know, of course, English has, in our English terms, we have given Saturday the day from, a name from Saturnalia, but the rest of the world calls it Sabado, if you should notice. Most other cultures or languages call Saturday Sabado, Sabbath, that kind of name. That should tell you something. If God mark is a day, then that means the beast who has given his power and his seat to a particular entity, a governmental or pseudo-governmental / religion, a power, his seat, the seat of Satan, then his mark is going to be a day as well. So what day does the whole world worship on? Can we see how the whole world is wandering after the beast? Okay. We need to understand who God is. We need to understand what all these things mean, because God does nothing arbitrarily. He has not left us alone. We need to understand how he works, because he said the only thing we should glory in is that we know him. And the reason I'm making this video is the joy on that man's face when he finally figured out what was the real truth. If we don't understand the truth, and there is a real truth where God is concerned, you have this doctrine and that doctrine and that doctrine and that doctrine, something has to be true, because all of it cannot be. So whatever questions, whatever statements, we're going to discuss it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down. And we're going to find out who God really is. Why all these things are happening. What he has to do about it. Because these things are pointing to something. He's coming soon. He's coming very soon. And whether you believe in him or not, the question is, how can you be ready? This is not about fear. He doesn't want us to be afraid. Every time God has come to talk to humanity, he says, be not afraid. So he's not trying to make us afraid. That's who he is. He's not trying to make us afraid. It has never been about fear. He wants to draw us to him. He said, come now, let us reason together. He wants to talk with us. He wants us to see who he is. Because he knows that the enemy doesn't have any good plans for us. So let's talk. Leave your questions, leave your comments, and we're going to go into the scriptures together.